Good afternoon, evening, whenever you see this, feel this, breathe this, do this, my loves. For those of you that are new to the Love Circle podcast, hi, welcome. My name is Symphony Thompson, and I am a self-care coach that helps millennials create more holistic and intentional self-care routines to aid them on their journey. And today we have yet another beautiful gem-dropping queen on this
Thank
episode.
you. Thank you.
Please. Please, Livy, let the world know who you are, like why you are the dope individual that you are. Put the people on.
Okay, y'all. So, hey, y'all. Great rising. I am Libby Love. Libby with the one, Love with three E's, but you can just call me Libby because that's my nickname. But I'm an artist from Savannah, Georgia. I do music. Um, I enlighten people. I enlighten women. I'm just really the bridge to just like femininity, a new idea of femininity, the new evolution of femininity. So that's what I'm here for. I'm here to just spread love, be love, spread love through my music, inspire women, inspire everybody, just be one with everything around me. So yeah, that's what I'm here for. That's what Libby is. That's who Libby is. That's who I am. Yes.
So why is femininity and teaching it, showing up in that space and creating that sensitive space for other women to be feminine? Why is that so important to you?
Well, okay, so for me, like growing up, I grew up with my dad, but
Mm.
my mom was around, but I grew up with my dad and my little brother. So, I was kind of only around men. I was kind of only limited to just the logic side of men. So
Yeah.
when it came to just like expressing like how, like my emotions, expressing how I feel, they were a lot more intense. They were a lot more intense um because it's femininity. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like everything with femininity is always 10.0, as they say. So,
Mhm.
growing up with my dad and stuff like that, and just, being around my brother, and then, having sisters. I have four sisters. I'm the youngest, I'm the second to the last of nine. But just having sisters and not being around them and not being connected to them, it was kind of like a brick wall. So, for me, like, like changing, making a new idea, making a new um understanding of what femininity like is for me is important because I struggled with that most of my childhood. I
Mhm.
struggled with that when it came to just, going to school, and then it's like, okay, like, I don't want to be too much. I don't want to do too much. That fear of being too feminine, that fear of being too feminine and being touched, being
Yeah.
violated, being harassed, being, what I'm saying, just that fear of just expressing yourself because of a counteract of masculinity, or a counteract of being harassed for being you, for being free. So,
Mhm.
like for me, like, finding my new wave and finding my just, my evolution of what femininity is like, it's important because a lot of women feel like there's an idea. And I feel like a lot of women, we kind of shut each other off because we're not being the standard of what we think we should be like. So, like if you're too feminine, you're probably labeled a HOE. You know what I'm saying? If you're over too exploiting, then you're this. If you're not too much, then you're labeled this, then you're not good enough. If you're too much of this, then if you're too little of that, then you're you know what I'm saying? It's always some kind of scale when it comes to just femininity. Whereas with men, you know what I'm saying, the men can be too masculine and toxic masculinity. You know what I'm saying? It's just simple as that. But when it comes to just women expressing their femininity, it has so many different doors and so many different
Nuances.
rooms inside the house. They
Mhm.
don't Yeah, it don't even have to even be that. So for me, just like being a woman and like evolving who I am and doing that in a household full of men. And then when I got older, I ended up getting a dog when I was in high school. And I thought it was a girl. I thought it was a girl, and I brung the puppy home and it was a guy. You know what I'm saying? And had a penis. So it was like I was still kind of stuck around that just energy of just men. So, I didn't want to look at it so much of like, I never, find a friend, or I'll never, find out who I am or whatever. Just being limited to just masculine energy. I had to actually just like embrace like this is I wasn't placing this family for any reason. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I wasn't placing this family of just men. I didn't just grow up with my dad and my brother and my dog for no reason. You know what I'm saying? And the only really connection that to film. But like the math, I just had to really like understand, like, you know, like different facets of femininity. You can have feminine women, but they're a lot more than survival energy. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
growing up with my, she was as at the end of the day, she's still a woman. You know what I'm saying? She's still a facet of women. So, you know, like just me, just evolving in who I am, and growing up and being around different friends, and from just childhood up until now, it's like I don't have, like, for me. You know what I'm saying? Like always going back to the question of what does that look like for me? Not getting so carried away and what does it look like for everyone else? Because at the end of the day, I live my life for me. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's important to actually,
Yeah.
you know, not get so lost in, like, you know, the idea.
So when I started Faded Beauty, my clothing line, I originally started it because I cut my hair off and I felt like the freest person ever. And then after a while, like when I first cut my hair off, my granddad, like he praises having hair. Every time he saw me, my hair was done. So when I cut my hair off, like it was a drastic change for him. It took him a long time to understand, like, this is who I am now. Like he even
Mm,
told me that my hair is my beauty. Like,
hmm.
why'd you cut your hair off? Your hair is your beauty, blah, 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 this, and this. So for a long time, I was carrying that, like, dang, everybody liked me with my hair. I'm supposed to have my hair to be this type of woman, blah, 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 this, and this. But then I finally realized, like, the me that I feel most comfortable with, she might have a fade, she might have locks, she might have her hair wrapped, she might have a hat on. Like, you never know how you gonna get me. So in the beginning, like I said, I cut my hair and that's how Faded Beauty started. But then after a while, and I started learning myself, and like I never used to like to wear dresses. And now sometimes I was like, ooh, damn, you kind of sexy. Like
Right,
no
right.
earrings and dressing up. Like I kind of like that stuff now. So over time,
Yeah,
Faded Beauty has evolved into so much more. Like it's self-care. Like how do I wake up every day and I choose to take care of myself mentally, physically, emotionally and spiritually. Like Faded Beauty touches so many facets of who I am. I love clothes, yes, which is why it's a clothing brand, but I also like taking care of myself.
yeah.
But it
And
was
it's the
so,
balance.
yeah, it really is. But it was so hard because of course, I grew up with my mom and my sisters. I have four sisters, but we hung around a lot of dudes. We grew up with a
Mm,
lot of dudes. So we got homeboys. We didn't really grow up having girlfriends. Like, that's not
right.
really something that we did. So, over the years and growing into myself, I've become more feminine and I learned to become softer because of like me getting to know myself and spending that time with
Yeah,
and actually opening up to being like, okay, yeah, it's okay to be strong, but that's also operating in your masculinity. It's okay to relax, learn to
yeah,
relax and be okay with it and
yeah.
not beat yourself up about relaxing. Like, it's okay. Relax in your femininity. We have
Yep,
that power now.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree with you so much. And I think too, like what I struggled with for so long growing up was the unpredictability of femininity. It's not gonna be the same every day. You're not
Yeah.
gonna feel like rainbows, and you know what I'm saying? Like not get so carried away in that idea. And for me, just growing up, I always got lost in that idea of just what does femininity look like. I cut my hair twice, well, three actually. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like I understand, like, you know, the freedom. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care about the backlash. It didn't bother me. But like you said, like the fade, I can go from having a fade. You know what I'm saying? I can go from having my hair blonde today and then dye it pink tomorrow. Go
Yeah.
from pink tomorrow to blue. Go from blue to orange. Go to orange, back to red. Go to red and then go back. You know, and just being able to just express it, being able to wholeheartedly express like femininity is not like it's not a straight path. It's not a straight
Yeah.
path. Like it's
It's
very
not dresses and
unpredictable.
skirts and all of like preppy and prime and
Yeah,
makeup and
and
it's
I think
different
for like
things.
for me with my love effect, like with the love effect, my business, like I had like, you know, like I started wearing makeup when I was like, I see my cousins when I was in like high school. I think I was a freshman. And like, you know, like I was really trying to figure out how to be more feminine, and like, you know, having cousins and stuff like that. They grew up with their mom, and you know, their mom is very feminine and things like that. Having cousins that, you know, like wear makeup, I'm like, okay, like this must be the gateway to femininity for me, just in my reality. Okay, like this is kind of like the closest thing I can get to expressing myself. I can express myself through my makeup. If I'm feeling extra, I can be extra. If I'm feeling subtle, I can be subtle. If I'm feeling like, you know, soft glam, I can be glamorous. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And just like dressing up in my world, dressing up in my world. So, you know, like being able to transmute that from there, learning how to do makeup from like ninth grade up until now, and then being able to like, you know, do those services and do that for women that enjoy it. You know what I mean? Just to transmuting that, and like loving what I do and actually doing what I love. And like, you know, like you said, like the unpredictability. Like you said, I might wear a beanie. I might turn around and like I might not want to wear my hair today. I may not want to show the world my hair today, my crown. And like, you know, like not getting so like being able to come back home to us, like to us as individuals, like, okay, like femininity is unpredictable and that's okay. Unpredictability is okay. That's what makes the journey great. Like that's what
Right,
makes the journey cool.
Atlas. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. My dog is
No,
doing the most. I'm so sorry. But yeah,
really, you're
it,
fine.
it's just I don't know, like it's so many different nuances to being a woman. And it's so crazy that they try to control our bodies so much. It's so crazy. Like once you really realize that you have the freedom to be and do you however you choose to be and do you, it wrecks your nerves when people think, "Oh, you shouldn't dress like that. You should probably wear a skirt," or "Why you cut your hair? Why you do that? Why don't you ever wear your hair out?" Like because I'm me.
Right.
I shouldn't have to um check in when I want to dye my hair or when I want to cut my hair or if I want to wear a different type of outfit and feel like I want to wear all my crystals or something. Like I shouldn't have to check in with you.
And I don't even, and it's like, you know, I'm wondering. Well, I'm not gonna say I'm wondering because I feel like I'm getting to the answer now of like why people always like need us to like approve to them. And I think it's a part of it. Like we're all a reflection of each other. Like each woman is a reflection of each other. So, you know, if we have a woman who's a lot more collected, more like, you know, conservative to herself, and then, you know, you know what I'm saying, and she's starting to judge you for like, you know what I'm saying, like it's always that brick wall between women. It don't have to be, but it's an imaginary brick wall. Like I feel like that brick wall usually comes down when conflict occurs, and I hate that that happens. Like I hate that, you know what I'm saying. I hate that I have to spaz on you for you ask me about my
Yeah,
crystals today, and you,
yeah,
oh, you being a witch, and it's just like, first
right.
of all, like why are you in my business? Like why do we have to
Exactly.
have conflict to be able to just break that wall down? And like, you know, trauma. It
Yeah.
goes back to trauma. It goes back to what we learned, reprogram. It goes back to all of that, and it's like I've learned to not take things so personal because like growing up, like I was always the person who would take everything so personal. I was like very like a person could be sad today. I'm like, dang, I gotta make this person happy. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I gotta do something to just make them feel better. Like I don't know why I always felt like that was my responsibility because it's not. But like we're women, like you know what I mean. Like if I can help bring you up because I'm feeling great, then why not? But at the same time, like we shouldn't. I feel like we shouldn't be so hard to attack each other when it comes to just us being us. We shouldn't be so hard to judge each other. We shouldn't be so hard to just like it's okay to agree to disagree. It's okay to not like the same things that we like, but it's not appropriate to judge each other for or clashing because we're being who we are because of our identification. Like
Mhm.
I never that's something I still can't really understand. Even with Love and Hip Hop, you know what I'm saying? Like Love and Hip Hop portrays the women of like showing their emotional side and them like being real off camera when like clashing or like conflict occurs. Like it's still my I don't understand that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's just it's very just like I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah.
I mean, but I
It's one
think
of those,
huh?
no, go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead,
I
go ahead.
think that's only because they have to cater to the type of people that like that. Like even some of those people that's on that cast, they're not really like that. But they always show the small tidbits of bitch, you done took me here. Now I gotta show you how I feel. Like
Right.
they don't show the parts when you're calm and you can just shut down a situation without cussing and doing all of that stuff, but they gotta keep up ratings and stuff. So I'm gonna show you all the drama. I'm gonna make this person feel or be this type of person just so I can reel you into that type of person.
Right.
And I can get you in and you can start coming here because it's kind of like an addiction. Like, oh, I gotta catch this show Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Like, let me
Yeah.
see what other
Yeah.
drama. Let me see what other drama they got going
What?
on.
What? I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
Now, don't get me wrong. I do
I'm
dabble
guilty.
every now and then. Don't get me wrong. I do dabble
Yeah,
every now and then.
it's entertaining.
Yeah, it really is. And
Yeah,
it's like, damn, they really sat here and they thought about this shit. Like the producers and stuff. Like, yeah, I dabble a little bit. I ain't gonna say that I don't.
I kind of because I feel like sometimes like we like I feel like sometimes women like we kind of have to kind of like understand like I'm really starting to understand like just like why like the duality and like why like you know like why femininity is such like a why it's such a why so confusing? You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like for me, I'm just understanding why is it so much confusion and just femininity and femininity when it don't have to be. I'm
yeah,
really understanding that just for myself and my journey because like you know what I'm saying? Like you said, like the over sexualization, like I get like I don't want to say I get backlash, but sometimes I it's always a subconscious thing of like, am I doing too much? It
yeah.
shouldn't be a conversation of am I doing too much? It should be I've done enough.
Yeah.
That's it.
Ooh, tell them
You
again,
know what I
Libby.
mean? It shouldn't be a it shouldn't it's like I feel like it shouldn't be like let me rewind that back. Let me rewind that back.
Yeah,
I feel like it shouldn't be a conversation of like, am I doing enough? I mean, am I doing too much? I'm doing enough. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
that's
Like
it.
when it comes to just like stuff like that,
Libby, you breaking
like,
up, baby.
I'm
Libby, you breaking up.
a dancer. That's my thing. So you love and train to commit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I didn't hear most of what you said though.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Like I've learned. I'm going on a walk too, y'all. So y'all just go
you here for the
walk
nature.
with me. But I've learned too, like when femininity, like when yeah, facts. When it comes to just femininity, I've learned that like it's not it can be a conversation of just like, am I doing too much? It should be, I'm doing enough. Like
Yeah.
you know, like
Uh-oh. There you go.
the energy is so high right now. But yes, I was gonna say, when it comes to femininity, I don't feel like it should be a conversation just for women. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Of like, am I doing too much? It should be, I'm doing just enough, and I'm okay with that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the masculine, sometimes the masculinity in women, because we're balanced, we have both. Sometimes it could be just overdraft. You can overdraft so much out of your, masculine bank to the point that you have to rely on your feminine to be able to calm down, to be able to relax. That's
Yeah.
how we get. That's how women, like I noticed that the rates of just like I don't want to just get off tangent, but like I noticed that the rates of just like ovarian cancer, like cancers, breast
Mm-hmm.
cancer, like ovary cancer, like a lot of like womb like injuries, like a lot of womb problems, a lot of breast problems, a lot of feminine issues like cancers, ulcers, cysts, a lot of things. Like it's just mind baffling, and it's like it's going back to like the insides, us
Yeah.
being too much in our masculine energy, us not catering to
Libby, I can't hear you. Libby.
because I don't relax. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, but I was just saying with like, just the understanding of just like the balance of just the feminine energy and just like, the trauma of so much like damage to just the feminine wounds and like the body and just like, like we shouldn't have to go through all of these like health issues, but it goes back to just like the slavery, goes back to just what they've been telling us that we like, that what we should, this is the way that we should be hard on ourselves. We should go to work and work a 16-hour shift. Like we should go and slave for, you know what I'm saying? We should just be a slave. We should just be a slave to just other people and not cater to ourselves.
Right.
I feel like femininity is like catering to just the woman.
Everybody but you. No, I'm saying outside of femininity, that's everybody.
So true. Everybody except for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody except for yourself. And then you're selfish. The society tells us that we're selfish for putting ourselves first.
Yeah.
So it's like we kind of stray away from actually catering or loving ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We stop loving ourselves and we pour into everybody else cup, and then we look in the jug. There's nothing else in the jug. Yeah. Now we looking back at everybody else cup like I'm gonna need a little bit of drop of everybody else.
You remember when I let you hold? You remember when? Get it back.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that back. I'm gonna need to borrow that. I'm gonna need to borrow that.
That's crazy though. Like, so be a part of your own rescue basically came from that. Like, I was so mad. I was like, man, I done helped all these people and now I need help and don't nobody want to come help me. And then I realized, you know what? Just be a part of your own rescue. They ain't out here trying to save nobody. They ain't out here trying to help nobody. Faith without works is dead. If you really want it, put in the work. You say you got the faith, put in the work. So at first, be a part of your own rescue was purely out of anger and payback. And then after a while, it was like, you know what? Being a part of your own rescue is pretty dope. Like showing up for yourself, creating a space, and then it opens up the space and gives you an opportunity to have like-minded people come into that space. You've created your own level of comfortability based off of your own standards and learnings and unlearnings to where now you can choose who you invite into your circle. You can choose who you allow to share and exchange your energy with so that you don't feel depleted, so that you aren't angry because you feel like you done gave so much to this person and they can't even pick up the phone and say, hey, cat, dog, this, that. Oh, that's somebody, grandma talking right there. Hey, cat, dog.
What?
But yeah, like you can now choose. You have the ability to say, I trust myself enough to say, I trust this person. I like this person. I want them in my space. And that goes for jobs, friends, family, relationships, whatever.
Right.
Whatever.
Absolutely. And like, like I'm not really that old, but like I've had experiences with just like I'm learning like the evolution of just like people. But at the same time, the evolution of people always go back to me. If I'm not evolving, I'm gonna keep attracting the same toxic people in my life and different people every time. Every time when it comes to friends, whether it comes to the people I know, whether it comes to people I don't know, like, not trusting yourself and, being in that hitting that brick wall and being able to look at that brick wall and just be like, okay, this is a brick wall. That's okay. But at the same time, I can climb over that brick wall. I have a hammer right now. I can tear that brick wall down. I don't have to keep going back. Options. Absolutely. I don't have to keep reverting back to the same hurt space and keep inviting trauma bonds and keep inviting traumatic friendships and things that's not even going to last, karmic friendships, things that just keep happening over and over and over and over again. I don't have to keep dealing with that. So, like you said, you can, when you get in that healed space, you can be able to allow, you can choose who you allow in your space. Like not feeling like your energy is, not feeling like it's not worth anything. Have a rich spirit. If you have a rich spirit, you can be rich. Like be rich. Don't come from a poor space. Don't choose poor people. Don't choose poor friends.
Riches are temporary. I call it wealthy. I feel like wealthy is like a legacy thing. That's something that you can pass on. You can teach. It's not something that's given.
Right. And I agree with you. like with the spirit, like being a rich spirit, like Kendrick said, he said it very like I feel like he said it very just clear. Rich spirit, having a rich spirit, being able to, if you're the one that's rich, if you have a rich spirit, right?
Yeah.
Why would you go out of yourself and go back and revert to being poor when you're not poor? Or make yourself believe that you're poor, and then you go hang with poor like people. You go
Yeah.
hang with poor spirits. And then
Yeah.
next thing you know, you're like, wait, I don't have to deal with this. I'm rich. And then next thing you know, you have a whole mess that you have to clear up right then and there. So you forgetting that you're rich, then going back to that, reverting back to that energy, and then it's like, okay, I gotta go back. I'm rich again. I was rich the whole time, but I forgot.
Yeah.
Goes back. It's like, for me, finding the truth, having those questions with myself and being able to go back and be like, if I'm the person with the rich spirit, if I'm the one with the higher understanding, the higher conscious, the higher just like overstanding of everything, and we're the higher overstanding of just people, how people are going to treat us, but we already know all these things when it comes to the human experience. Why would I allow myself to be triggered by someone who's hurt?
Yeah.
Like, that's something I've like just like embracing femininity and just being me, just being Olivia, being Libby.
Yeah.
I've learned, like, like it's okay to like not understand like what people go through. We don't always understand what women are going through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we may have a confrontational moment with one woman one day, and the next day she's happy and she's great. We don't want to call her fake. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because you don't never know what she's going through. And like, I feel like too, like I'm learning, like not even just learning, but I'm getting out of that space of just prejudging.
Yeah.
Don't prejudge, because if you prejudge, you're prejudging yourself. That's like if you calling somebody else judgmental, you're judgmental for calling them judgmental.
Yeah.
If you calling them fake, but you ain't telling them that they fake, that make you fake too. So it's like,
Right.
it's like a whole mind. It's like a whole mind. Like, it's like a whole mind. Like, it's like a
It's
whole
really
mind.
putting a mirror in front of yourself. Like anything that you say, anything that you feel, like it's literally because that's what you are portraying.
Exactly. And I think that too, like people don't, like women don't want to look in the mirror. That's the
Yeah.
hardest thing. If you tell them like, okay, we the same, even though we not the same, but you saying that I was being shady, but right now that you telling me I'm being shady for being me, then that makes both of us shady, right?
Right.
Like, doesn't it? Like, then we both gotta look in the mirror and be like, okay, like, dang, awkward. Okay, so we're reflecting each other. How do we go? How do we go forward?
Yeah. But
How can we move?
that's what kind of made it so hard, or makes it kind of hard for me to make friendships now, like to create friendships now, because some people are not ready to have hard conversations. And I'm not saying that I'm the type of person that's always ready to have hard conversations, but as my friend, I should be able to come to you and be like, you know what, when you said that, that kind of hurt my feelings. Or me come to you and be like, you know what, I had this business idea for you. What do you think about it? Or what you got going on in your business right now? How do you feel emotionally right now? Are you happy? Like, how have you been the past couple of days? When you talked in a while, you ready for a mental check-in? Like, I want to be able to have these conversations with my friends, and I know that some people aren't ready yet. And of course, partially that's me judging them for not being in the space, but also I want to create my level of happiness, my garden, as I call it. Like, if we're going to be sharing space together, and like I feel like you're a flower in my garden, just like I'm a flower in my garden, I should be able to nourish you the same way that I nourish myself.
I agree. I so agree. I so agree. And I feel like too, like, like we all have, it's like we always have a choice too. Like I'm realizing we always have a choice. Like we can choose to make that space.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but it's like if they're willing to go in the garden with us, then okay. But if they're not, then that's okay too. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And like I realized, like, with my, like, just my experiences with friends and stuff like that. Like, I was in the garden. You know what I mean? I'm in the garden. They're my flower. They're the flower in my garden, but I wasn't the flower in their garden.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, being like I'm learning that it won't always be like that. I don't want to just prejudge each experience or each path that I cross with friends with that experience of just the experiences that I've had in the past.
Yeah.
But also too, like being comfortable enough in myself to be like, this is my heart. This is who I am. Either you could take it or you can leave it.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't accept it or if you don't understand it, ask. It's
Yeah.
okay, because
That's
I'm
it.
not like, I'm not one of those friends. I'm not one of those people that you can immediately just understand. Like I'm a book. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like we're all books. We're all books. We can't just look at one page like I know you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
That's
look at the
it.
cover of the book and like, who you think you are? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I feel like sometimes we kind of get lost in just like looking at the first page. Like, you know, we get so hasty to learn people. We look at the first page and then we just close the book. We're like, okay, this book seems boring, or this book doesn't seem very entertaining, or this book doesn't seem very whatever. But
Yeah.
it's like, you know, if you're the one with the higher conscious state, you have that right. You're the creator of your garden. You have that. You have
Libby, let
that.
me pause this one and then I'm gonna start another one and call you back. So we'll have more
Okay. Okay.
time.
So should I leave?
Yeah, I'm about to close it.
Okay. Okay.